Look at yourself. I am beautiful, no matter what they say, and Todd can't bring me down.
She can violate my rights if...
What?
Huh?
Did you really think I was gonna let you slide, bruh? Where the fuck are your teeth at? What do you even eat with those? How do you chew? You fake ass Goomba from Mario Brothers. I know y'all see Jesse, sexy, red-headed ass. Yo, it's like I'm conflicted right now, but honestly, Misty who, bitch? I found her, the one. You are the closest thing to a human out of all these raggedy ass animals. Why are you hanging with them? Go chase your dreams. You're better than this.
Damn!
Hold up, there's too much funny shit. What is wrong? Yo! What kind of nose is that? Yo, if you look hard enough, it looks like, is that the letter J, bitch?
Wait till you see the... No. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
Where is your ass at? Hey, look, man, I know I got some little booty viewers. I'm sorry. Hey, all jokes aside, shout out to all the girls with little booties, man. Look, I don't eat ass, but if I ate ass, I'd rather eat y'all little booties than these big fucking Donkey Kong ass booties that some of these girls be like, man, how do you even wash that thing? Just harboring funk all day. No. All right, so where was I?
Oh, look at this nigga mouth. Oh, get back!
Bye, bitch!
Everyone has a fantasy. It's time for the Hooters Fantasy Players of the Week.
He never
The way that dies when you crucify
Coach Kitchens uses the phrase, you're either going to be exposed or exposure. And a lot of these guys, whether they make the team or not, they're getting exposure and auditioning for quite a few other NFL teams.
All right, back to you guys.
Gilbert's first throw complete for a Browns first down. Rashard Higgins on the other end of that pass. So Gilbert comes out slinging, and that's something we've seen much of from this Browns football team. I was looking, Tim, at the balance chart. 113 passes to only 53 rushes through the first 3 games.
Yeah, I think Freddie feels really comfortable with all the quarterbacks that come into the game. All 4 of the guys have performed really well in the preseason, so he's not afraid to get back there and let those guys cut it loose.
Gilbert this time will give it to Hilliard, who falls forward for perhaps a yard or 2. Ernest Johnson has been the Browns' leading rusher this preseason with 65 yards, or rather 86 yards through the first 3 games. So it gives you some sort of an idea that they've really thrown the football here this preseason. That's clearly what Freddie wants to work on most. 2nd down, 7 now for Gilbert and the Browns. Looking to throw, dumps it to Hilliard out of the backfield, makes a nice cut inside and falls forward for a pickup of 6 yards. That'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Good job by Gilbert that time. They were setting up the screen. Watch him keep his eyes to the right over here to look the defensive backs off and the linebackers off, and then come back and dump the screen off to the left, allowing that offensive line time to get out in front of that and almost get a first down on that play.
So the Browns bring in their run package here on 3rd and short. Really has been a nice preseason, Tim, for all of the Browns quarterbacks. Obviously, Baker struggled last week, but for the most part, 5 touchdowns, just 1 pick this preseason. That will not be enough for a first down, clearly, as that Detroit defensive front does a terrific job handling the offensive line. It's a loss of a couple, and it brings up the Browns' first punt.
Yeah, just no blocking on that. Hilliard had no opportunities. You see they're running the little zone stretch play here to the right, and that was Njoku who got beat on the end of the line of scrimmage that time. He just got beat. Passion and hunger he had. He was really fighting for a roster spot a year ago, and they want him to not really get where he feels comfortable, but kind of feel like the same way he did when he was trying to make the roster, and they felt like he was playing at a higher level. So just kind of get back to that. So it's good to see him catch a couple passes early in this game.
1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Gilbert to throw again, looking deep, has his man, and he can't haul it in. A terrific throw, but Ish Hyman just unable, Tim, to bring that in.
What a great throw that time by Gilbert, and a great read, too, seeing the safety move out of the middle of the field, so he knew he had the post in behind that. He delivered a perfect throw to Hyman, but he just kind of lost his balance at the end of that route and couldn't haul the football in.
And for a young guy trying to make the roster, that one's going to stick with him for a while.
Definitely so. You got to make those plays if you're going to make the 53.
But again, Gilbert just great touch on that deep ball. He's been the Browns' leading passer this preseason, came in completing 66% of his passes. This one can't be brought in. Again, incomplete to Hyman. So you look at that wide receiver room, Tim, and Braxton Miller, the guy that Browns fans know so well, having excelled at Ohio State. most recently brought in about 10 days ago, Ish Hyman, Derek Willis. They're in battles for roster spots. There's no other way to say it.
They are, and tonight is a big night for all those guys. And Hyman off to a rough start. He's dropped 2 passes here back-to-back on this drive, so he's going to have to get it together. And I expect the Browns to get Braxton Miller involved heavily in this football game tonight as well.
Well, I know talking with Freddie yesterday, he lights up when he's talking about Braxton Miller, and why not? That one almost picked off, intended for Hyman again, so 3 straight passes in the direction of Hyman, all 3 incomplete, and that will bring on Jamie Gillen.
Yeah, and two of those obviously should have been caught. That time Garrett was a little late on the throw on the out route. You really have to anticipate that throw, and if you're going to miss, you got to miss it to the side.
Camp and the Detroit Lions offensive line tonight has no chance to block him.
And just to add to that, Devereaux Lawrence, if you thought he loved Nick Chubb, which he does, Devereaux Lawrence is number 2 on that list of players liked by Freddie Kitchens. Back to you guys.
Absolutely. Freddie beaming yesterday when talking about Devereaux Lawrence. And it's not just about his play, Tim. It's obvious he was in the room with us yesterday for 30 seconds, and I think our entire crew fell in love with him. He's just a likable young man that you can't help but root for.
He is. He's got a lot of energy, and you want those kind of guys on your football team, and you can tell he loves coming to work every day. He believes in the head coach and what he's saying and this system, and I think he's going to be a great asset for this Cleveland Browns defense.
Second down, 17. Gilbert with time, looking for Braxton Miller, but launches it over his head and incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 17. And Tim, when you think about it, so we know about the Browns' fearsome front 4. This is going to be a front line that gets after quarterbacks all season long. And it's all about rotation and having fresh guys to bring in, fresh legs as the game goes on. I think most teams, after what we've seen from Lawrence, most teams would love to have a guy like that in the front rotation. He's a guy that's going to come off the bench and be able to apply pressure to opposing quarterbacks.
I think that's a great point, Jay. And I think that he's going to be over there on the sideline resting while guys like Ogunjobi and Richardson are in there at the start of the game. He's going to come in later in the game and rotate in and out with those guys and have fresh legs and have all that energy that he brought to this game so far.
Gilbert's pass complete to Farrell Brown, but not enough for a Browns first down, so they will have to punt it away. It's been a busy night already for Gillen, as this now will be his 3rd punt of the evening. Came in with not a lot of fanfare, but certainly looking to make this football team.
Yeah, absolutely. They've all done a great job so far during camp and in the preseason. I've been really impressed with Dearness Johnson and his versatility as a running back. And as you mentioned, Jay, picking up the blitzes and pass protection, but catching the ball out of the backfield. He's also valuable as a return guy as well. And obviously, we know Lawrence has had a great preseason camp as well.
This will move it forward for about 5 yards. Braxton Miller once again. And the crowd showing their appreciation for the former Buckeye. I asked him yesterday how often he's asked about that spin move against Virginia Tech, and he said every day.
Every day, as he should be. That was a heck of a play, and he's just one of those guys you want to get the football to as many times as you can. He's elusive in the open field, and you just want to get the ball in his hands as many times as possible.
He's had a very short window to try to impress these coaches. Signed last week. Saw some action in the last preseason game, but looking to get much more here tonight. That is a first down carry. Left leg, we'll see if we can get an update on Forbes' condition. First down 10 as the final seconds of the first quarter ticking away now. Gilbert with the completion over the middle. That is Seth DeValve, the tight end from Princeton, who has not played much because of injury this preseason, but nice catch there. Dustin.
Hey guys, obviously when Braxton Miller was in college, he had a shoulder injury, which kept him out, and he basically had to learn to play wide receiver. Not many people know about this, but Urban Meyer was a wide receivers coach at Notre Dame before he got to Bowling Green, Utah, and all that. But Urban Meyer was working with Braxton Miller 30 minutes after practice every single day after that shoulder surgery to get him ready to make that switch.
Yeah, and you can see the effects of it. Braxton Miller's ability to get open in the slot is definitely a big reason for him to be able to play in good.
He's got a shot. Got to play well tonight.
Yeah, and he knows that. He knows he's got a golden opportunity here for him tonight. So far, he's done everything the Browns have asked for him. That pass off the back foot of Gilbert for the other tight end from Princeton trying to make this club. and it was incomplete. Stephen Carlson, haven't seen him much this preseason, but certainly an imposing figure at that tight end position.
Yeah, he's a big guy, and he was actually open on that play, but Garrett Gilbert didn't have time to step into the throw. He had pressure right in his face, and as you mentioned, Jay, that's why you saw the throw off the back foot and high.
3rd down and 2. Final play now of the first quarter. Gilbert with all kinds of time. Throws it to DeVal, but it is incomplete. So that will bring up the 4th Browns punt of this game so far. The scoreless first quarter is in the books. The Browns will punt it away when we come back to First Energy Stadium.
Welcome back to the Lions post-game show. Detroit losing 20-16 to Cleveland. Herman Moore alongside me. Herman, Dan Miller and TJ Lang were talking earlier about the different mindset. What about that mindset, the shift from preseason now into the regular season?
Well, the shift with these guys that shouldn't occur is this is real now. The preseason, sometimes you can hide behind that. Sometimes you think that going out and not putting up that best effort or making those critical plays won't come back to haunt you. But this is when it gets real, and the coaches won't allow those excuses to carry over into the regular season. You know, one thing I do want to touch on is that we talk about whether or not the preseason should be counted and players' mindset should be a certain way. I'd be a little concerned because you don't want to have the inconsistency in the up and down.
Well, one guy who is concerned is head coach Matt Patricia, and he is approaching the podium right now. Let's listen in.
With the game and the outcome and everything. But I'll say this, I think our guys went out and competed hard. I think the guys, fought all the way through the game and tried to do everything they could to win. And were into it. They were involved and they were paying attention as we were, trying to go down there and score. So proud of the guys, proud of the effort. I think all the way through training camp, I think everybody's worked really hard. I think they've tried to do everything they could to show us their skill sets and, what they can do to help us during the regular season. We obviously got a lot of work in front of us as far as that's concerned. So, really with the game itself, just too many mistakes, too many penalties to really allow us to get out of the hole there as far as some of the plays were concerned. I think we had some big plays out there. We left some plays out there because of the mistakes we made, and those are things that we got to just continue to eliminate. So, I think that was the biggest problem in the game for us in order to stay on track. And like I said, I was proud of our guys working really hard to go compete all the way to the end. I think the guys were fighting hard to try to win, and that's important. There's a great value to that, so it was good to see.
Fans might get a little hung up on the 0-4 preseason. What did you learn about your team?
Yeah, I think that's a great question as far as, the learning process that we go through training camp. The games themselves are difficult, and we're trying to win every single game that we play, certainly, by all means. But I thought if you look at the big body of work of what we did and some of the competitive practices that we had versus two very good teams, back-to-back, one at our place, one down in the heat down in Texas, I think our team showed a lot of character from that standpoint and their willingness to go out and ignore everything else that was going on and work really hard. Like I said, I think the guys in general through training camp, they tried to compete. They tried to go out every single day and get better. Really had our head down, and we just grinded all the way through camp. Right now, obviously, the biggest part of it for us is try to make the best decisions we can for the team going forward, and to help us try to go win during the regular season. It's a long process. The NFL season is, it's a grind, and there's a whole another phase that we got to get into here through the month of September. But right now, for tonight, like I said, I'm proud of this group. I think they care about each other. I think they really enjoy each other. I think they work really hard, and that's great to see. I think as a coach, when you can stand in front of a group of men that just want to go out and make each other better and perform at a high level, it's something you can really appreciate.
You talked to guys, you talked this week about guys taking this opportunity to step up and make some plays. Eric Williams, a guy, did that a little bit. Powell had a couple nice returns. What about Travis Fulton as well? Being able to make some plays down the field in that kind of tight receiver competition?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Those are some names that obviously stood out in a couple plays there. But I would say really for me with the game, I'm going to have to go back and look at the tape because there just was so many, I thought, plays that got us off track, so many negative plays that we had to try to overcome within the game from that standpoint that, the situations were hard to evaluate. The individual play, we'll go back and we'll look at the tape. There was, like I said, like you mentioned, a couple players that stood out in particularly some of those plays, but as a whole body of work, I just think there was a lot of mistakes that we got to look at.
Matt, building on Kyle's question a little bit, just vanilla schematics, not a whole lot of starters in the preseason.
Yeah.
Where's your confidence level heading into week one with what this roster can do in the regular season?
Yeah, I think for us, I think the confidence level that we build is through the course of practice and like I said, the competition that we had against the two teams that we practiced against. That's always good. I honestly think, confidence as far as an NFL team, you probably aren't making it to this level if you don't have some sort of level of confidence in general. I think the big challenge for us, like it is for every NFL team right now, is to push from this point on. And the teams that are able to grow and build and improve through the course of the season, through these different markers that we'll set as we get into the regular season, those are the ones that'll be there in the end. And that's really our next challenge. It's a whole new kind of entity in and of itself that we do have to develop our team and see what we're going to be as we go forward.
Those are some of the comments from Lions head coach Matt Patricia and Herman Moore. He talked about pride, being proud about the effort that the players gave tonight, but now it's all about results. That's what he needs to see.
Well, you're right on. It's going to be about the results. The effort should always be a part of it. Mm-hmm. Some of these things should just be givens. It's not so much that you have to extract that from your players. With Coach Patricia, this consistency, he's going to be looking for players to not put themselves in the bad holes that they were in, and you got to avoid some of those penalties.
Players have learning curves. Matt Patricia has the learning curve too in year 2 with new offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. We'll talk more about that on the other side of the break. You're in touch with the
All right, back on our post-game show, Dan Miller, TJ Lang. Lions fall to the Browns 20-16. We'll get TJ's final thoughts coming up in a moment. Guys were trying to make statements tonight. Brandon Powell, one of the guys that had a chance to do that, had a couple of big returns. He spoke in the locker room moments ago.
Basically what I've been doing all my life, just play football, going back to what I know, and that's just, have fun and, be a playmaker. And that's all I was trying to do. And it helped me out.
When you look back at the full body of work, Brandon, just from the beginning all the way through, do you feel like you've done enough to earn a spot?
I don't worry about that. I just, go play football. I just know I play football, and if, a decision to be made, that's out of my control. I'm just going to go through this weekend like any other day, and that's it.
I know that you give credit to the guys blocking for you on those returns, but tell me about just the 67-yarder and how special that feels in this game.
Y'all saw I just ran, basically. I didn't have to do anything but just pick a hole and run. Everybody made their blocks. There was a couple holes I could have ran through, but, I just, I shout out to those 10 dudes blocking for me. They all was, trying to earn a job just like me, and they, they did their job. So I put my hats off to them.
All right, Brandon Powell, have to find out what happens this weekend when the Lions cut that roster down. Let's move ahead. Arizona coming up a week from Sunday. Let's move beyond roster cuts. You're a frontline player on this team. What's your thought process now?
Hey, now they start counting, It's unfortunate they couldn't find a win in the preseason just so the young guys kind of know what it's like to have success. But they count now, right? You got no more room for error, no more room for mistakes. I like what we saw from Stafford when he was out there a couple weeks ago with the first-team offense, able to move the ball well, looked really good passing. I'm excited to see the run game, though. I think it's all going to start to come together. Obviously, first full week of preparation these guys are going to have together as a team.
Good job, my friend. This retirement thing works out well for you.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
It was fun. TJ Lang, thanks to Herman Moore as well, to Woody, to Jen, to everybody involved in the pregame show, and in the postgame show, and all the people you don't see behind the scenes. We appreciate everybody putting this thing together. That'll do it from here. Preseason is over. It is
Thank you.